Which one? Have to mess with Who's going to do the timekeeper? The timekeeper's right here. You can see it right there. 20 seconds out. Just so you can kind of wrap it up. 10 seconds. Your name?
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Thank you all for joining us this early morning. First off, I want to thank all the candidates for joining us here today. Please give them a round of applause. If you've been a formal candidate in the past, it's always good to get applause, even if it's a free one, right? Enjoy it. Real quick, we're real excited to have everybody here. I'd like to thank our partners in this. I'm Mike Gonzalez with United Brownsville. We have our publisher with the Herald, Frank, and also with the Brownsville Chamber of Commerce. We have Humphrey. We've been visiting on this for a while. We spent a few hours trying to come up with a format, and our vision was how can we really help the citizens connect with their candidates? How do we make it real easy for them to really understand, what each candidate is offering, what their vision for the community is. So we hope we put together a good partnership to get that to citizens. The Brownsville Herald is committed to putting a page together on their website, which will have all the information of all the candidates. Hopefully it can be a one source of great information that everyone can really kind of gather around. FYI for the candidates in the audience, we're also live feeding this right now. It's a little camera on there. We had over 200 people watching online, no pressure, but I think you guys might be a little bigger draw, but we'll see. And with that, we'll turn it over to Natasha Finley with Channel 23. She is the air traffic controller. She's going to keep everybody on time and on point. She is the final award and the referee. So with that, we'll turn it over to Natasha.
All right, thank you. Thank you guys so much. Thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you candidates for being here. We're going to jump right in, and we are going to start by introducing our mayoral candidates. Starting here, we have Tony Martinez. He is an attorney here in the city of Brownsville. Next, we have Mayor Ahumada. He is an appraiser here in the city. Brenda Joyas is a project director. And Erasmo Castro is a cancer info specialist. Mr. Roberto Sanchez is an entrepreneur. And we have Mr. William A. Garza. He is in the hospitality industry. So we're going to come back down here. We are going to start with Mr. Martinez. Now these candidates for this question, they are going to have a minute to give opening remarks as to why they want to run for mayor. We're going to start with you, sir, and let me get you the mic. I have to say, I did this last time. I'm a reporter, and I keep having mic issues. That is like a rookie mistake here. Okay, Mr. Mayor, Mr. Martinez, Mayor Hopeful, I should say, just kind of tell us why you are looking to run for elected office.
Okay, Natasha, and you are not a rookie, okay? We've known you working for Channel 23 for a while. I want to first of all thank everybody for being here. I'd like to thank the Brownsville Herald, the Chamber of Commerce, and United Brownsville. This is an extremely important election, and I can tell you exactly what we're looking at from our perspective. There's two things that I think are extremely important for the city and for us, all of us as a team: jobs and education. And so we are here today to tell you exactly how we intend to fight for education, how we intend to fight for jobs, how we intend to train for those jobs so that the local economy can better itself, that we can all better ourselves. But let's face it, folks, if you don't have a team, you don't have anything. So it's whether you're working with United Brownsville, whether you're working with United Way, it all says United. So we're here to tell you that we have assembled a team from the last 4 years. And you asked us to serve. We were willing to serve.
Thank you so much,
And
sir.
thank you so much.
We're going to pass the mic over to Mr. Ahumada. Sir, your remarks on why you want to run for elected office.
Well, I've had the privilege to be serving you as mayor twice and during very difficult times. 2 recessions. One of my terms had no reserves, had a deficit of over $2 million, couldn't sell bonds, couldn't pave streets or anything. We got through it twice. I steered the city in the right direction. And I wanted the opportunity to do the same thing. Right now we're facing some very difficult challenges. The budget isn't as what it appears to be. My father taught me, don't believe everything you see, don't believe everything you hear or read. You need to be informed. The city's headed in a very difficult time with a possible judgment of $5 million or more by the firefighters against the city. We have police cars that have over 200,000 miles. We're understaffed about 120 police officers. The challenges that we're going to face paving the streets that have been neglected for the past 4 years. The high utility rates, we have higher utility rates in Magic Valley, and we own our own company. You know, I think this is the challenge that as a mayor I can face and lead the city. Thank you.
And Ms. Joyas, you are up next. Please tell us why you are running for elected office.
Thank you. My name is Brenda Joyas, and I want to welcome everyone here. Like I've said in all the other forums, I hope to see as many people here as we can see in the commission meetings. Because most of the commission meetings, no one shows up. I decided to run because as a concerned citizen, I had complained, I had asked, and the next step was to run for mayor. I want to see the majority of the community represented in the city, and I want to be an inclusive government that includes their community in all their actions. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And Mr. Castro, you're up next. Why are you running for elected office, sir?
Thank you, and again, thank you to each and every one of you that is here today. My name is Erasmo Castro. I want to thank the Brownsville Herald and the United Brownsville and also the Chamber of Commerce for having us. The reason I've opted to run for mayor of the city of Brownsville is that we feel that we are in a very critical point in time for our city in regards to the disconnect that exists between city government and everyday citizens here in the city of Brownsville. We truly believe that there is no clear representation of the community as a whole. We feel that there is representation for a selected few, and the purchases and the agreements and the ordinances that have been effected in the past 10 to 12 years are reflective of this. So it is our hope to be inclusive and to have participatory governance by each and every one of the citizens of Brownsville, to involve them more in the process and to bring education opportunities for everyone at the school district level and the university level.
Thank you so much, sir. Mr. Sanchez, you are up next, sir. Please tell us why you're running for elected office.
First of all, I want to introduce my first and only wife in my life forever. 17 years of happiness with our 4 children, together forever, learning and growing together with our community. I am running because I've seen the present mayor and the former mayor. They're experts with their rhetoric. You must be careful, voters. It's a rhetoric that is convincing. You don't want to waste your vote on those two. Anybody else, it's time for a change. The city is ready for a change. We're in over $500 million in debt. I'm a gentleman that has businesses and vast experience with high dollar and high revenue activity in the shrimp industry, in the restaurant industry. I've made all my money in the Brownsville area. I'm blessed to live amongst the Brownsvillians here in Brownsville. It's a wonderful area, and I love Brownsville. Robert Sanchez for mayor.
Thank you so much, sir. Mr. Garza, you are up. Please tell us why you're running for elected office.
Thank you, Shirley. Good morning, everyone. My name is William Garza, and I'm running for mayor for the city of Brownsville. I'm running for the reason that I have a vision for Brownsville, like many of us have vision of how you'd like to see the city of Brownsville. We haven't talked about tourism. I'm in the tourist industry. We like tourism. I work for a gentleman who owns hotels all over the valley, always complains about why they're always full and we're not. Well, I have a real good plan for tourism, and including purchasing some trolleys using hotel tax money. I also think we need to go after the retail market. When you talk to the Brownsville Economic Development Council and GBIC, they prefer going after manufacturing and industrial jobs. Well, I think we need to go after retail as well, because our incentive package says that you must pay a minimum wage of $10 an hour if you bring in, if you get incentive package from us. But we need retail. The whole valley is nothing but retail. We're going to have retail here. I would like to, when we get more revenues, I would like to dedicate it to infrastructure.
Okay, sir, we are actually going to start with you on question 2, so you can hold the mic. This next question is, everyone is going to have the same question. You're going to have a minute to answer, and then there could be a follow-up question by our panel here. They're going to send me some questions over here on this iPad, and I'll relay that question. So that's kind of how this next section will work. Okay, Mr. Garza, the question is, our citizens have defined a prosperous community as one with high opportunity and low poverty rates. What is the mayor's role in fostering prosperity?
Well, by bringing in jobs to the community, we need to bring in jobs. I think it's very important that we do so. Like I said, I have a job plan. I have a job plan working with the BDC and GBIC and bringing in jobs to Brownsville. And the project that I have talked about over and over does not get into the general fund. In tourism, we go into using the hotel tax money and creating jobs, bringing in retail. We go through the GBIC and BDC. I think we need to bring in more jobs to this community. I think it'll help our revenues here. And like I said, I would like to dedicate this money to infrastructure. But I also have other plans in doing a no veterans crisis center, a veterans crisis center, and a no-kill animal shelter, as well as a library branch over in the northeast part of town. Brownsville has grown tremendously, and we need to service our citizens here. And it's the northeast part of town by the port and Rivera High School really has no library. Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay, and sir, you are up. Our citizens have defined a prosperous community. I apologize, there was a follow-up question. Sir, I'm gonna, okay, you have the mic there. Okay, the follow-up question. As mayor, what specific steps, projects can be done to attract private sector investment?
Well, first of all, I'd like to meet with the private sector, and I am currently meeting with them on a big project for Brownsville. I've been meeting with them for 6 years and trying to bring an arena to Brownsville. I think the west end of the valley has 3 arenas. You know, McAllen just opened up a convention center, Edinburgh has just proposed one, of course, the arena over in Hidalgo. I'm working with the private sector, and that's what we need to do, is work with the private sector. The city of Brownsville doesn't have many money for many of these projects, but we need to work with the private sector in trying to bring in things like an arena or Veterans Crisis Center and other projects I may have. And I think it's very important that we do work with the private sector. There's a lot of money flowing in from Mexico. Of course, you know, they get residency here if they spend so much money, invest so much money in this area. Well, I'd like them to stop in Brownsville because we do have a lot of businesses here that have opened up, but we'd like to go after the bigger businesses, stay here and do my bigger projects. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Mr. Sanchez, same question for you. Our citizens have defined a prosperous community as one with high opportunity and low poverty rates. What is the mayor's role in fostering prosperity?
The permitting department, we need to get a good look at the permitting department. We need to follow the likes of McAllen and San Antonio, Texas. Many businesses are flying right over Brownsville into McAllen, Pharr, Edinburgh, and San Antonio. We're losing large investors that could invest here in our community. We also need to go to a convention up the country where 50,000 people show up to the convention. It's a retailers convention. Everybody that develops malls and outlets, Edinburgh, Pharr, McAllen, Harlingen, San Benito set up at those conventions. There's no booth from Brownsville over there. As you can see, they got the outlet mall out there in Pharr, and in Edinburgh, the Papados, all the stores and all the restaurants are going over there. We need more of that here.
Okay, sir. I think we have a follow-up question coming through from our panel. Okay, our panel would like to know what changes are needed in our permitting process to attract high-paying jobs.
Well, we're gonna have to sit with the other commissioners when I become mayor and have a roundtable discussion about that. As some of the individuals in the permitting department have been in there for over 3 decades, and it's time to analyze their productivity in the permitting department. Like I said, in McAllen, Pharr, Edinburgh, they're surpassing this beautiful community. All the dollars are going over there. It's very obvious. The sales tax revenue in McAllen is double what it is in Brownsville. Yet, we're a stronger, more populated area. We need to look at that and get that permitting fixed up because it is very difficult for businesses to start up here and they see the impact fee with the developers, building permits went down, the impact fee went up. We need to control all that. Development is passing right by Brownsville.
Thank you so much, sir. And Mr. Castro, the mic is yours. Your question, our citizens have defined a prosperous community as one with high opportunity and low poverty rates. Now, what is the mayor's role in fostering prosperity?
Thank you so much. First of all, I think it is very important for us as citizens of Brownsville to be well informed of our current situation. Unfortunately for us, we get many promises and we're told that everything's peachy keen here in the city of Brownsville, when in fact the analysis of the indicator data reveals that Brownsville is actually in a state of economic decline and eroding competitiveness. We need to educate the individuals in regards to being a part of the process and giving back to the community. We need to educate parents in regards to having students finish and their education. Our dropout rate is superbly high. Our graduating rate at the college level is also at a 19 or 17%. It is important to educate the community in regards to the processes of government, the way it works. Unfortunately for us, individuals leave high school without actually having a clear picture as to what is going on in city government.
Okay, thank you so much. We have a follow-up question for you here. What city projects can be implemented to spur quality job creation?
Well, in going back to the education process, we are very blessed as a community to be having SpaceX just around the corner. And it is an opportunity. It's an opportunity to increase education. It is important that we cling on to it and maybe start focusing on a form of museum. It's a state-of-the-art museum that will actually give the students of this community the benefit of knowing what is out there in regards to space. We know that we have Stargate coming. We have different other projects that are focused on space. SpaceX will literally place the city of Brownsville on the map. We need to further the infrastructure in around that area and think about educating not only adults but also children and making them proud in regards to having something that will give back to them tenfold.
Thank you so much, sir. And Ms. Joyas, the same question. Our citizens have defined a prosperous community as one with high opportunity and low poverty rates. What is the mayor's role in fostering prosperity?
I think the mayor's role in fostering prosperity is going to be the key connection between our community and our city government. I think that the mayor is the person that needs to get out there in the community and ask, what are your needs? What are your wants? What are your worries? And bring those ideas back into city government and find out how it can be worked out to help the community. I think the community is one that is very rich, very smart, very intelligent. We might all be educated in higher education, but we are very intelligent. And I think we need to look within ourselves to see what problems are in our community and bring them forth and find those solutions within us.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Just hold on to the mic for half a second. Okay, question just came through from our panel. As mayor, what economic barriers can you remove to spur job creation?
Economic barriers, I would have to say, is getting into looking at people that already have businesses and helping them streamline their businesses to where they can improve and bring in more jobs that maybe they didn't know that they had the funding to be able to do. There's a lot of education from what I can see in the businesses that are in the downtown area, and that they have very good businesses, but at the same time, they're not at their high potency. And so I'm going to them and asking them, what is it that you need help in? Is it accounting? Is it marketing? Is it maybe branding your business? And bringing in the university students and creating paid internships for them so that they can in turn help the business, and the business in turn gets help from their education. We really need to look into what we are doing within each other and find those businesses, and those barriers are education, whether it be at the higher education level or just at the Chamber of Commerce or other organizations that give workshops to educate people.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay, Mr. Ahumada. Our citizens have defined a prosperous community as one with high opportunity and low poverty rates. Now, what is the mayor's role in fostering prosperity?
Unfortunately, we are a tax poor community. We're a disadvantaged community. But we have a lot of assets. Geographically, we're strategically located to benefit and create the opportunities for the citizens of Brownsville. But we need the leadership to guide and set the pace to get those opportunities to Brownsville, working together with the BDC, the Chamber, and everyone who wants to make Brownsville the agenda. I have done that in the past. We created the JBIC board, which has allowed economic development in our city. We have to provide the incentives for people to come, remove the roadblocks when it comes to permitting, make sure that the investor is welcome, feels that he is part of the community, and all the resources are at his disposal or her disposal to make whatever they plan to bring to Brownsville happen. I've seen
sir.
projects where, thank you.
Thank you. Oh, let me ask you a follow-up question here from our panel. As mayor, what can be done to expand our property and tax base?
Okay, that's a difficult one, and I'm an appraiser, and I can tell you that the assessments are high, but the wealth is not there. We just have to create the opportunities to bring investments like we are doing now, and we have been doing for many years. But it takes overnight. It takes working together. A lot of people from Mexico have come to Brownsville. We're affected by the national economy, and we're affected by the international economy, like the peso devaluation, stuff like that. So we gotta have we gotta be ready to react to whatever economic circumstances we're in. But we have to work together with the private sector to bring the opportunities. We have done it in the past, and we can do it again. We brought Continental by working with the private sector. We brought HEB to Southmost, which was not going to get built. We brought Walgreens, which was going to lead to Harlingen. We brought the industrial park. We've done a lot. SpaceX, right before I left, came to Brownsville.
Thank you much.
Everybody came together to make it happen.
Thank you, sir. Okay, Mr. Martinez, you have the same question here. Our citizens have defined a prosperous community as one with high opportunity and low poverty rates. What is the mayor's role in fostering prosperity?
Let me just tell you, it's real simple. It's education. We have fought for education from day one. We believe in what education does. If all of you who are here realize and understand that the only way out of poverty is through education. Stargate is a wonderful and great example of that particular project. It brings together the students, it brings together SpaceX, it brings together the opportunity to not only prepare for SpaceX, but it also gives the students the hope to know that what they're looking at is not only a job, but it's a moment in history. It's a way to change themselves, it's a way to change their lives, it's a way to change their communities. They engage, they embrace, and they enjoy life. And that's what it's all about. So when you talk about prosperity, you talk about the joy of living, the joy of being here, the joy of having all the folks around you enjoy a great life. Thank
Okay,
you.
sir. Quick follow-up for you. As mayor, how can you impact workforce development?
Workforce development is being improved as we speak. We have a project Sizzle that's coming in the next couple of months, or probably the next month. It is a Italian company along with a Finnish company. The proposal is to go ahead and put a training center to work with TSC and encourage people to train the people locally to get the kind of jobs that Alex, we were talking about this morning with regards to having the local people being able to enjoy the companies that we bring in here to create jobs and better their life and lower the unemployment, which we have done, and also the poverty level. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I'll have you hold the mic here. We're going to go on to question 3 with you. Question 3 will involve questions from this jar. I'm going to choose one at random. The candidates have had a chance to look over the questions and kind of prepare a little bit. They're going to have 2 minutes to answer this question, and then there could be a follow-up by the panel, which you'll get a 1-minute response. So we are going to start now. You are up, Mr. Martinez.
Thank you.
Your question. Define the state of business climate in Brownsville, and what would you do to improve it?
Okay, the state of business is great. I know that these other candidates have been talking about the permitting process. Well, the permitting process is online. This is something that we've been working on with the permitting program, and we are making great strides and great progress. The second thing is when we talk about the BEDC, the Economic Development Corporation has been out actively. For some of you who may not know, we have opened up an office in Medellin, Colombia. We have 3 employees down there. We're actively having a lot of these folks come into town. They're investing in Brownsville. Building permits have been increasing. The unemployment is down. SpaceX is here. Project Sizzle is here. We've done great strides. And as opposed to maybe some of the candidates who say that the future is bleak, the future is great. The future is wonderful. The future has been developed over the last 4 years and built on a lot of folks that had done it before us. So we stood on their shoulders, but we built on that. And we did it because we collaborated with everyone. We broke down the silos. We had things that we've never thought before. I mean, when we talk about SpaceX, that project came on and was one of the first things that I saw. And I thought that was a changing, a cornerstone for the aerospace industry for us here in Brownsville. So I'm very proud of the team in Brownsville and what they've done together, what PUB has done. You have a Standard & Poor rating, which is a report card for the state of the economy in Brownsville, and it's now a AA, the highest it's ever been in the history of Brownsville. So you ought to be proud of yourselves because that's what you did together with this administration. So that's my answer, and I'm sticking to it. Thank you.
Sounds good. Okay, and a follow-up question. What can we do to leverage successes like SpaceX to open more economic opportunities for citizens?
Well, you know, the SpaceX has actually been on the campus and been talking to folks about jobs. That's the one thing. The second thing you got to realize with the aerospace industry, they come kind of like in a colony, if you would. There's an ecosystem that goes along with what you have when you have the aerospace industry. So not only do you have vendors from the Brownsville area that may be able to provide things, you also have manufacturing jobs. So it is kind of a success breeds success type of situation. And I'm here to tell you, I mean, the things that we look at and we talk about with the Brownsville Economic Development Companies and without all the people that are actually coming across our desk, there is a tremendous growth. And that is why we need the continuity of the leadership that we've had over the last 4 years to continue this effort and succeed.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
You can pass the mic there to your left. Okay, Mr. Ahumada, your question. Define the state of natural environmental resources in Brownsville, and what would you do to improve it?
Well, being an environmentalist myself, I've always sought to protect our wildlife corridors, and I've always championed for the humane treatment of animals. I will work with state and local officials to continue preserving our wildlife habitat, also improve our zoo for people to get educated about wildlife, work with the schools to make sure that we understand we are stewards of the wildlife and the habitat. We need to grow, but we need to grow responsibly. We need to balance it between jobs and our wildlife and our ecology there. So as mayor, I'm committed towards that end. I have always been, and I will continue to do so in a responsible manner representing the citizens of Brownsville, making sure that we grow responsibly with a plan that weans us off, for instance, off fossil fuels. We have planned to diversify for the utility company, which has been diverted now to fossil fuels completely. And I think we need to get back on track to work in an environmentally safe way to develop our city for the future and for our children in the city of Brownsville. Thank you.
Okay, sir, follow-up question. How do you balance preserving natural resources with the need for economic development like LNG?
Well, you know, I can't control what the federal government standards are or the state standards are. I can't control or have an influence over what the city plan and direction is going to take to attract the type of industry we want. Yes, we want to create jobs, but we don't just want to attract anybody just to create a job. It's got to make sure that it fits with our plan of how we want to be when we grow up. What kind of city do we want? Do we want a city like Houston, or do we want a more eco-friendly city? So that's what we have to do. We adopted the Going Green Plan. It was abandoned. I like to go back to that. So as mayor, again, I'm only one vote, but I will use my influence to make sure that the standards are upheld, whether they're federal, state, or local, that we work with all the agencies to protect the public safety, at the same time create the opportunities with industry to create the jobs. Education, the opportunities for the high-tech jobs.
Thank you so much,
We
sir.
support. Thank you.
Okay, Ms. Joyas, you are up next. Your question. Define the state of workforce education in Brownsville, and what would you do to improve it?
Workforce education, I want to say from what I've been hearing from BISD is they're pushing as many students as possible to start college early, which is a great thing if your student's able to do that. I think we also need to focus on the students that are not college ready or are not college material. You need to be able to focus and work on those students because they're part of our community as well. I think we need to focus more on internships, on going into businesses and saying you're gonna be followed, you're gonna be watched, see if that person likes what it is that they're doing. Find jobs for everyone, not just a select few. I think if we bring together workshops with businesses and students at an early level, they'll be able to understand and see what it is that they want to do in their future.
Okay, just one moment here. Our panel's, okay, here we go. Workforce development is critical to economic development. As mayor, what can you directly do to improve it?
Work with the community. I think that's key. I think that's one thing that we're lacking that we haven't done in the past. We need to work hand in hand with our community and see what their needs are. We can't just from the top say, we're only gonna bring SpaceX, we're only gonna bring NASA, we're only gonna bring a certain type. I'm not an engineer, but yet I'm educated. I'm not a physicist. Those are the types of jobs that most of these companies are gonna bring. Not all of us are that. I think we need to focus on looking at jobs that are for everyone. And that's only gonna happen if we work hand in hand with our community.
Thank you so much. Okay, Mr. Castro, you are up, sir. Your question. Define the state of municipal finance in Brownsville and what would you do to improve it?
Well, I think the city of Brownsville at this time, and just to go back, I don't think any of us here this morning feel that the future of Brownsville is bleak. I think all the citizens of Brownsville that have come up to the Mayoral forums are concerned with their daily cost of living, with PUB rates on the rise, and with a lot of the deals and real estate purchases that have occurred for the city of Brownsville as of recent. In regards to municipal finance, it is essential and important for us as a city to be inclusive in regards to individuals who want to start new business here in the city of Brownsville. We need to revisit ordinances that limit and hinder the growth of small business. We need to encourage prosperity at the downtown area as well as other sectors or other sections of Brownsville. We need to revisit ordinances such as the entertainment district ordinance and make sure that we curtail to not necessarily only entertainment for certain areas of the town, but also open the doors for all small business to prosper and to have a foothold in the future of Brownsville.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, historically, compared to other communities, Brownsville has approximately half the tax sales revenue, but double the population. Now, how as mayor can you address this difference?
Well, it is important to go back to the basics. Unfortunately for us, we tend as a community to react to situations as they appear. I think a lot of the issues that are coming in regards to the SpaceX and to other commerces coming to Brownsville, we are not necessarily getting the full amount that we need to be getting in regards to the income and the tax revenue that is coming in. Our airport is in disarray. The length of the runway is inadequate in order to receive the airlines that are coming in to service SpaceX and other industries. Our tourism sites, such as the zoo, have not been kept up to date. It is very sad situation for the city of Brownsville that which at one point made us prime key, the gem of the valley, and known throughout the state and throughout the country, has started to decay. And we tend to react to them at that point in time and not take care of them in the process.
Thank you so much, sir. Okay, Mr. Sanchez, your question. Your question, sir. Define the state of urban planning in Brownsville, and what would you do to improve it?
The past commissions were fed shark food from the special interest to develop up on the northern corridor. developers up in the northern side pushed for their projects up there, and the University of Texas and the urban development was trying to come down here up on that north end. Our mayor pushed it for the downtown urban university. The university flew down here and looked at downtown and said no. There were some premature purchases of some buildings downtown, overpriced. The community is very upset about that. I'm upset about that. Too many purchases to revitalize downtown. It seems to have backfired. Now we're sitting on half a dozen buildings that are not in use, and that is the state of urbanization right now. We have had it backfire on us on the downtown, and we're gonna try, as your next mayor, to fix that up with the city commission to work on that and see how we can unravel all those mistakes that have happened in this last administration and in the mayor administration from before. We're having too much negativeness from those administrations with the mistakes of downtown and also the mistakes as their tenures as mayor. We cannot put up with those kind of activities anymore where there's recklessness, DUIs, insults, disturbances in the meetings. I know how to run those meetings, and I'll do a good job as your mayor.
Okay, so we have a follow-up question for you. As mayor, what is your urban planning vision for Brownsville? How do you define that?
Well, we're gonna, as mayor, I first of all want to bring back to the downtown area the nightly visits from the firemen that hook up to the fire hydrants and spray down that downtown. They used to do that way back when, and that washing down of downtown will eliminate all that dirt and dust out there. Also, we got this panhandling situation in town that's getting out of control. The present mayor and the former mayor have not taken care of that. We got panhandlers coming up to our cars begging for money. I've had enough of that. Also, the downtown area, all the vagrants and all the transvestites all over the place is an embarrassment to the area. It's the truth, it's facts. Don't shy away from it. We need a change. The two past administrations have not changed anything. I'm tired of all the rhetoric. They're experts, they're lawyers. The other one was a wannabe lawyer
Thank
that
you
worked
so
as an
much,
office
sir.
manager and the lawyer.
Thank
The
you.
rhetoric's out of control.
Thank you so much. Okay, Mr. Yes, I was getting to that. Okay. Mr. Garza, sir, your question. Define the state of security, perception of security in Brownsville, and what would you do to improve it?
Well, I'd like to work with Homeland Security and see if we can put cameras all over the downtown area and all the port of entries. We need to have security here for our people to feel safe and people to come and shop downtown as well. I think we need to do that. I think we need to work with the police department and see what we can do to have substations all over. One downtown, it's been talked about having a substation there downtown. It's yet to be done. I think we need to have more around the city of Brownsville because the citizens here want protection. And I certainly will work with the police department, the sheriff's department, as well as Homeland Security and try to see what we can do to better that. Homeland Security being so close to the border, I know will work with us, and probably there's grants available for us to use to secure our border better.
Okay, and a follow-up question here from our panel. Perception of border security issues is negatively impacting economic development, specifically like the private sector concerns. Now, as mayor, how can you change that perception?
Well, it's a good question because I have friends from South Padre Island that tell me that visitors there are afraid to come to Brownsville, and we got to change that. My tourist plan is going to include bringing in people here to visit Brownsville from not only Monterrey, Mexico, Monterrey, San Luis Potosí, Tampico, Ciudad Victoria, Laredo, Corpus Christi, San Antonio, Houston. Those are the main cities that visit this area. We'd like to bring them here, to bring them in Brownsville, and with our trolleys that I plan to purchase with hotel occupancy tax, you're going to see a difference. You're going to see people feeling more safe. And as you see Brownsville picking up in tourism, other people that visit other cities are going to see it as a better place to go visit and not be afraid. Other cities are helping out in telling these tourists that go visit their cities, don't go to Brownsville. Well, why not? You know, we're perfectly safe here, but I'm going to change that by picking up tourism. Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Yes.
Well done on question number 3, candidates. Now we are going to move into the last question. It's just going to be a 1-minute time limit for you to kind of give some closing remarks. We're going to start with you, Mr. Garza. Back up on the mic.
Okay, well, I want to thank y'all for being here. I just want to say the reason I'm running is because I have a vision for Brownsville. That's the only reason I'm running. I have nothing against these gentlemen and fine lady we have here. I have a vision. It's on my Facebook page. You can see how I plan to accomplish this vision. I was fortunate to be city commissioner before, and I worked, and I was very honored to serve with Nacho Garza and Tony Zavaleta, Butch Barbosa, and Pete Benavides. You know, I currently now am being supported by 2 mayors from Cameron County are supporting me and endorsing me because they know that they can work with me. And we need to work with South Padre Island, Los Fresnos, Port Isabel, San Benito, and Harlingen because we're so close together. Many people don't even know or believe that Brownsville is the largest city in the valley because, you know, well, we are, but McAllen looks bigger because they're attached to all these other cities. But we need to work with our neighbors, and that's why many, or at least a couple of the mayors here are supporting me. Thank you very much.
Okay, Mr. Sanchez, you are up, and just your final remarks on why your final remarks.
Yes, I'm just like all of y'all. I'm just as frustrated with the misuse of the taxpayer money, the backroom deals, the fancy rhetoric, trying to convince everybody. I have a hard time believing the mayor. He says he believes in Brownsville. Ladies and gentlemen, he actually believes in Austin because his whole campaign functions out of Austin. He hired an Austin firm, Mr. Ronnie Oliveira, Message Audience Presentations Incorporated. His signs and all his pamphlets, he didn't even give the job to the Brownsville community. They print that out of the community. Another mayor candidate prints his stuff in Matamoros. I made sure that the Robert Sanchez campaign gave Brownsville its jobs. We know what we get with Tony. Millions of overpriced buildings, 36% higher utility rates. We know what we get with Ahumada. No televised public comments, mishandling of city checks, several DUIs, disruptive meetings, gambling issues.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Castro, you are up. Final remarks, please, on closing remarks. Mr. Castro has the mic. Turn it over to you, sir.
Thank you. Thank each and every one of y'all for being here today. I think all of us have great hope and great expectations for the city of Brownsville, and that's one of the reasons why you are here and why you are vetting the candidates to see which one can actually deliver on the promises. We, for the past 5 years, have not only talked the talk, we have walked the walk, we have been to city commission meetings, we have asked the questions, we have stood at the public hearings and expressed our voice and our opinion. And that is what we wanted to bring. We want to bring participatory governance. We want to bring you into the process. No more backroom deals, no more compadrismo. We want you to be a part of change that Brownsville not only deserves, but is going to get. And for this, I hope that you would visit our social media site at Erasmo Castro for Mayor of the City of Brownsville, or our webpage at erasmocastro.us, and we will be here afterwards to answer any questions. Thank you so much for coming, and have a great rest of the day.
Thank you so much, Mr. Castro. Ms. Joyas, you are up. Final remarks, please, for the audience and our viewers on live stream.
Thank you. I do want to thank you for all for coming, especially this early in the morning, and all of you watching online. I appreciate your opportunity to run as mayor for you. There are a lot of people that don't know that I'm running, and that's probably because I haven't put any funding into signs. I have not taken any money from the community. I don't think that that's something that's needed to be able to represent your community. I am Brenda Joyas, and you can see my information at brendajoyas.com. And if you have any questions, I would more than likely want to come to your house. If you have some family members that want to get a group together, that is how we start the conversation, is getting together and talking and bringing the community back to the government. Thank you.
Mr. Ahumada, your final remarks, please.
Thank you again for everybody that put this forum together, and thank you all the candidates that are running to give the citizens a choice, with the exception of Robert, of course. But it is a choice you will have. And if you like the direction we're going, then you should vote that way. If you feel that we deserve more, then I ask you for your vote. As mayor, I was always engaged, accessible, transparent, held others accountable. My track record is solid with initiatives taking the city out of through 2 recessions that got things done. We cut the property tax rate from 75 cents to 65 cents. We created incentives that brought business. We brought Continental Airlines, we formed Gibbik. We did many things. We cleaned up your city. The bag ordinance was the last thing that I introduced there that built a better city. There are candidates, specifically like Robert, that they have nothing to offer, they just attack. Well, you know, it's okay, we're used to it. That's what we're here for, to take the abuse they can dish out. But I ask you, look beyond that. How does that affect our ability to govern? I will govern wisely for you. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, and Mr. Martinez, your final remarks.
Thank you, Natasha, and thank you everyone for being here. I'm sure you're having a good time. All I can say is, you know, we've been having the pleasure of being your mayor. We're going in the right direction. We have a great future ahead of us. You all should be very proud of yourselves. You worked hard, you deserve the best, and we've given you our best. I'd like to continue to do that. We're not here about putting on a show, we're here about business. This is the city. The future of our kids is at stake. It's not a game. Unfortunately, we should not take our service seriously, but we should take our job seriously. And I take the job of mayor very, very seriously, because I love these kids and they deserve the very best that we have to offer. And that's our responsibility, and that's why I want to be your mayor. Thank you.
And it sounds like you just gave them all a round of applause, but let's do it again. Thank you guys so much for being here, taking the time out of your morning to be here. We also want to thank our audience members out there who are here with us live, and then all of the people watching on UnitedBrownsville.com, the live streaming. Several hundred people joined us online. We appreciate that. Thank you to the panel and everyone for being here. Have a wonderful day.
Emilio, Henry and Benny's brother.